Good morning, everybody. How are you doing out there in the world of the YTPC? And how's everybody doing out there in the YouTube world in general? I ain't done a good morning video, at least that I'm not aware of, since I was really in Kentucky. Even though I miss doing my bus stop videos. I don't know why. I always had more fun doing them at the bus stop. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure if they had a bus stop in the area where I lived at, I'd probably do a more bus stop video, but I can't seem to keep this hair on my lip for some reason this morning. I'm trying to go unplug today because, as I mentioned in one of my videos, which is why I wanted to talk to y'all about, um, I've switched jobs. I'm still working at the same job, just a different area of the job, and it's kind of messed with me a little bit trying to get my body used to going from night shift to day shift. And the hours are pretty weird for being day shift and everything. And anyhows, that's why I ain't really made much of any videos here lately. And just to warn everybody, if I ever post any videos that have no title to them whatsoever, my phone's been a little glitchy here lately, and for about a half a day, I couldn't get my keyboard to pop up. So, if I ever make a video and it has no title, that's why. Possibly. I might have to break down and buy a new phone, but I'm still going to keep this same phone. I like this little Stylo 2 that I got. It's a pretty handy dandy little thing. Just has a few glitches in it, but that's alright. It's technology. I'm drinking today some mighty fine Folgers coffee, and I quit using normal sugar in my coffee. I'm going to tell you why. I've noticed that I use less sugar using this other sugar versus normal sugar, and a lot of people are going to say, well, that's gross, but I've been using brown sugar. I can take a half a tablespoon of brown, or teaspoon I meant, half a teaspoon of brown sugar and put it in my coffee, and it makes it mighty sweet and gives it a very well flavor to it. I don't know if it's the molasses that's coated the brown sugar, because that's why it's brown, if they coat it in molasses, or what it is, but I think it's mighty fine, and got a little cream in there too. I like to say, for those of you like me that work the weekends and barely have a weekend off period, I just like to say to all of you, rock on, keep your head up, keep on going, and eventually your day off come along. And for all those of you that work from Monday to Friday, keep her up. I like to also say that I don't know really what I really would like to say other than I'm happy with life. Kind of had my eyes open to a lot of things here in the recent, and some things a little bit harder than others to take in, but it is what it is. And I like to give a bit of advice based off personal experience. I ain't no genius or no psychiatrist or no highly educated person out there. If anything, as far as such matters of what I'm going to speak about, I would consider myself to be a bit of an educated fool. And in the sense of the only reason I know is because I made mistakes and learned from those mistakes, so those mistakes are no longer mistakes, but lessons learned, something to add to your bag of wisdom. But I like to say something to all my young viewers, as well as to maybe any older viewer that just likes listening to this stuff, or learning or knowing what it is that someone my age thinks about. You know, I don't know how many people out there really would, but care. But I know a lot of people do care because apparently 117 of you decided I was worth taking the time out of your busy life and taking the time to hit that sub and like button. And that's awesome, and I thank you all. I'm very humbled by all you fans. But anyways, this is goes along with my eye opener I've had recently and everything. And this is just common sense, but sometimes along the way, if you're a hopeless romantic or an educated fool like me, you sometimes forget sometimes, and sometimes you get smacked into a brick wall and like, oh, wait a minute, I like to say out there to everybody, mostly I want to direct this towards my young viewers. Um, Remember these things when it comes to relationships. Um, you can't make somebody love you no matter how hard you try. And sometimes love is blind and you can't see what other people on the outside looking in are seeing. And you may not always take their thoughts or their opinions into consideration or listen to them at all. But sometimes it might help you out. And it just might save you just a little bit of trouble along the way if maybe you might listen. And save yourself a lot of heartache. Second thing I like to say is I like to hit the nail on the head about some phrases that you might hear sometime along your life, and this goes for everybody, is those that that you might either love or might be a family member, might be, a friend or whatever the situation may be. People that do and partake in things of narcotics and everything, famous words you might hear are, I can quit anytime I want to. I'm not addicted. I just do it once in a while. Especially when it comes to some of the harsh stuff. I just like to say, sometimes you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. And you can show people that you care enough to point it out to them, but they ain't going to listen. And if someone ain't willing to help themselves in that situation, well, then there ain't no way you're going to be able to help them or prevent them, because they have to want to change themselves, they have to want to better themselves, and they have to want to kick the habit. And if you are an individual out there that has said those famous phrases that I have recently come to learn from personal experience, this goes along with being an educated fool. You do need help. You need to find yourself some help, or find somebody that can help you get help, because you have an addiction and you got a problem. I don't care whether it's drugs or alcohol. Me personally, at one point in time, I've been a borderline alcoholic. I cut myself off that habit. Once in a while I have a beer or so. But, whatever the case may be, because whether you realize it or not, you are hurting the people around you. If you are someone that has an addiction, and you've said these famous lines before, you may not see it. You won't see it. But you'll be hurting your friends and your family around you, those that care about you, those that love you very much. And you'll be living in denial, and everyone else will be seeing the monster the things will that you have took will make you. And you don't see it, but others will. So take time if someone says, hey, I think you need some help. Listen. Whether you want to or not, listen. And for those that out there that want to do an intervention for somebody or bring something to somebody's attention in that manner, don't be discouraged and don't let the bad attitude deter you. But at the same time, also keep in mind, at the same time, the individual also has to want to help themselves. Even if they're to that point to where they need to be told that they have a problem, you still can't get a person to listen if they ain't willing to change themselves or to realize through the intervention of however you would do that would work, whether they would listen or not to the people surrounding them that care enough about them to do that. And just keep in mind also when it comes to things like that, the only thing other that you can do is pray for that person and wish them the best and hope they get themselves help or let people help them get them help and that they'll be willing to change for the better and the better themselves or to kick a very bad habit that's costing them a great deal of stuff and causing them lots of strife with their friends and family and loved ones and folks that care about them. The only thing you can do, is pray for that person and hope that they get help before either the poison they're pumping in their system kills them or before they end up destroying what relationships and bridges that they have. And always let the person know that you care no matter what may be said or done. Because nobody's a lost cause. And when I say that, you kind of look back like, for those of you that are Christian, you know what I'm about to say. Technically, if you want to really get technical, there's a time, it even shows in the Bible, where even God was thinking us men, the whole entire humanity, was a lost cause. But then He gave us His Son, Jesus Christ, so that we may have a second chance. And for those that believeth on Him shall not perish but have everlasting eternal life. I just wanted to share this with you this morning because I've had a lot of things on my mind, a lot of things in my heart. And also I had some concern about somebody, and I just kind of had it all blow up in my face. And I just figured instead of being mopey about it and all that stuff, you know what, that's okay. That's on that person. I can go on my life, go along with my life. And also, too, be sure you're not also being an enabler to somebody. I almost had been an enabler myself. I almost had a stupid moment. And I feel real stupid about it, to be honest with you. But I know enough now not to make the same mistake twice. Or almost make the same mistake twice. That's another thing too. Don't be an enabler. Because if you're an enabler, you're just hindering a person's recovery or recuperation. And also too, from my also personal experience from in the past, I had a adopted cousin who had some problems with alcohol and stuff, and I had someone that used to be a friend, and they both went to AA, and they didn't want to go alone, so I went to a few AA meetings with them, just to see, show them support and everything. And that's another thing too, maybe some of the people, out there that got problems, addictions, whatever it is, maybe it's that they're afraid to go by themselves, you know. So always be willing to offer to go with them, you know, and show support, you know. Even though I don't know how all this stuff works, but I know like in AA stuff, you know, from what I learned, you have sponsors, you know, and everything. But, you know, a sponsor can only do so much. But if you ain't, you know, but if you got that home support, you know, that makes a difference. Well, folks, I've rambled on for about 15 minutes or so. I just like to say thank you to all the fans. Thank you to everybody that hit like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to all the lurkers. Thank you to all the future fans. And wherever you all are at in this world, may you be blessed. Till next time. Thank you.